Welcome back. In a new movie out today, Never Again follows a Holocaust survivor and a former radical Islamist as they come together in a cutting-edge documentary. The film's director, Rick Eldridge, along with one of his main subjects, Kasim Hafez, recently spoke about the film. Good morning, everybody. I'm so glad that you're here. Let's start off by asking, where did the title Never Again come from?
Well, never again is a phrase that you find in Israel and in the Jewish people that relates specifically to the Holocaust. And it was a phrase of exclamation, this could never happen again. You'll see that our title has a question mark beside it. We see what's happened in our world and we realize that could this happen again? So we explore that, and therefore that's why we call it Never Again question mark.
This seems so timely. Why is this the right time for a film like Never Again?
So all the statistics point that anti-Semitism is rising in this country. It's rising all over the globe. And we've seen that in deadly fashion in Pittsburgh, in Poway. So we felt that right now was the moment to have this film to highlight this awful trend and basically that extremism, that radicalism, it doesn't just come out of thin air. That it starts with words, as Irving says, and it's a wake-up call. We're so divided, we need to go back to seeing people's humanity and speaking out when there is a wrong happening to anybody.
That's right.
Kasim, can you tell us a little bit more about your story and the journey in the film?
For sure. So I grew up in the UK and became very radicalized from a young age, just with the messages that I was growing up around, with the bigotry that I was hearing on a day-to-day basis about a group that I had no contact with, Jewish people in this context. And as I got older, I became more extreme and more radicalized, and it was at my most radical that something happened which would change the path of my life and made me essentially go to Israel seeking out the truth, and the truth that I experienced changed everything. And in this film we really look at that and chart that back and look at all the real intricate details about how I was radicalized, how easy it is for that to happen, and what changed and how that change has really impacted what I do today.
Can you describe for us really what is being done about increasing anti-Semitism and violence against Jewish people around the world?
Well, I think what needs to be done is an education of understanding history. We forget about our history, and when we do that, we're potentially going to repeat it. In our story, we tell of two very different paths. We talk about Irving Roth, who was a Holocaust survivor. As a 10-year-old child, was ushered onto a cattle car and sent off to this place called Auschwitz. And we hear that story in a very emotional way. We hear about him losing family members, the struggles that he had. And then we see Kasim's story directly opposite of that, as a small child learning to hate Jewish people. And as we see these two paths, and we literally went to 6 different countries to film this and got right in the middle of the experience with Irving and with Kasim, to be able to catch the emotion, to catch the depth of that. And hopefully through those stories, those personal eyewitness testimonials, we will learn a little more and understand a little more, and understand more of each other and each other's culture. The throughput of our message is love, not hate. And that's hopefully the message that we walk away with. We understand a little further.
That kind of leads me to my next question, which does, I mean, you've made a film now featuring a Holocaust survivor, Irving, like you said. What have you learned about the best way to combat hatred? Is it as simple as love?
I think it's understanding. It's understanding, that we're very different maybe in the way we look. We're very different maybe in the way we believe, but that there are many things that are similar about all of us, and we can learn from each other because of our differences, and we can learn more of ourselves by understanding that. So it is an embracing of culture. It's an embracing of the differences that we all do have.
Do you have a target audience for this film? I mean, who do you think should really see Never Again?
I think everyone who is able to should go see it, simply because the way the film was made, the way that produced by Rick, it's accessible to everyone. A lot of the more gruesome imagery that is associated with the Holocaust has been left out, but you still get the full impact of what Irving went through. So I think this is important for everybody to see, because these are important conversations, these are important topics and important discussions that the sooner we address, the sooner that we introduce into the lives of teenagers, they understand, one, the dangers of bigotry and anti-Semitism, but they also understand the dangers of radicalization and how they have to see the humanity in people rather than allowing comments and statements and things they may see on the internet to allow them to other a group of people and treat them differently and in a negative way.
Thank you, gentlemen, so very much. We appreciate you being with us. Never Again will be in theaters nationwide today and Thursday only. For tickets, go to neveragainthemovie.com. This was a paid segment. Keep it here.